Hashtag him too. A bunch of trolls or a legitimate counterculture? I'm Nathan Seelove, and this is Factually Biased. Let's talk about him too. So this is basically a response to Me Too by trying to divert attention away from sexual assault survivors and bring them onto people that have been a victim of being falsely accused of sexual assault. Namely, of course, men, hence the name Him Too. And this is kind of bullcrap. And let's lay out why with math. So the Me Too movement is about sexual assault. Now, statistically, 1 in 5 women are raped. That's 20% of all women in the United States. That is a massive number. That is an epidemic. That is a crazy indication of an institutional problem. So what do those numbers look like for the percentage of men that are falsely accused of sexual assault? Well, let's lay that out. First off, in 2016, there were 96,000 reported rapes. All right? So there have been various studies about how often false accusations about rape actually happen, and the conclusions for those studies often range from like 2% to 7%. So let's be generous to the Him Too people and assume that the real number is 7%. All right? So that means that if you apply that to the 96,000, that means that 6,720 people who reported rapes in 2016 were falsely accusing someone. Now, let's also be generous and assume that all 6,720 of them, the people that were falsely accused, were men. All right, let's assume that. So there are currently 151.8 million men in the United States. All right, so let's divide the 6,720 from the by the 151.8 million men in the United States. If you do that, you get 0.000044. Now, turn that into a percentage, move the decimal 2 places, and you get 0.0044. So 0.0044% of men every year are falsely accused of sexual assault, versus 20% of all women experiencing sexual assault. So when you're diverting attention away from an issue that affects 20% of women to draw attention to an issue that affects 0.0044% of men, is it really a wonder why a lot of activists get really annoyed? This should not be a partisan issue. Rapists do not discriminate based on politics or political affiliation. This should not be partisan. This should not be controversial. Fighting against the epidemic of sexual assault should not be something that is controversial. And responses like the Him Too movement to try to divert attention from an institutional problem to an issue that, yes, you can find anecdotes for it. And yes, when that happens, it is horrible. But it happens to 0.0044% of men in the United States. You can't justify creating a new social movement for that. So I hope that the next time that you're trying to decide if you should share some meme about Him Too, that you consider how many people that actually affects versus the people who have been sexually assaulted, and think about the message that you are sending them. So that's what I got for you this week. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, I hope you consider subscribing for weekly content, and I will see all of you later.